Hey comic book fans, welcome back to Comic Book Corner 2.0. And fans, you're back with me, Mike Spider Slayer, getting ready to do that all-important comic book review so you, the fans, can make a decision what comic books to buy. And today, guys, we're talking about the highly anticipated new release of Uncanny X-Men issue number 1. You can see on the roster here you have Sabretooth Magneto in a more traditional-like costume. You have M, you have Archangel, and you have Psylocke on here. So pretty cool roster. This book is written by Colin Bunn, and the artwork is done by Gregory Land. Now the artwork is not bad. However, Greg Land's artwork is you can pick it out from a mile away because it seems like the way he does his facial expressions are all the same. Especially it's more noticeable on a woman's face, especially on M's face. He always has these big smiles, big teeth that stick out like this. I mean, it's from a mile away. Every expression is exactly the same. You know, same here when it comes to Psylocke's face, and it gets annoying at times when you read a lot of comics and you see his artwork. However, there's good detail. The colors pop, and however, it is a very kind of a dark book. It's a dark toned book. So here's a nice 2-page spread here as it shows the roster in its entirety. So what did I think of the actual story? Let's recap it a little bit. So first we see like this military or whatever, they're carrying these mutants. And what happens is we wind up seeing Magneto go after these guys, and they try to free these mutants. And these mutants were obviously scared from the Terrigen Mist, and they're not high-level mutants. They're just your regular, everyday, kind of like Joe Schmo, just mutants that have some powers. And really releasing these mutants created this long drawn out battle between these, nothingless soldiers or whatever, and Magneto overusing his powers, and it took up about half the comic book, actually. And really what it does is it kind of introduces you a little bit to everybody that is on the roster. You get to see a little bit of your personality. You wind up getting to see Psylocke using her powers, trying to get into Archangel's mind to see if there's anybody left that had to deal with the old Warren. You wind up seeing Magneto's caring for, what their battle is, what their mission is. Sabretooth, you find out that he's not quite the same, badass as he quite was, like how he would used to kill everybody. And also in this issue, you got M. Now, what the book didn't do a great job was really explaining who she was. They kind of expected the reader to know who she was. Now, I read a lot of X-Men books, but when I looked at her, I couldn't tell who she actually was. I had to go digging around, ask my Frontline members to find out who she was, and they did research to find out who she was. And I think she was from like the New Mutants and from X Factor at one point and things like that. So I was like, wow, they didn't really do a good job at describing her. They kind of expected you to know who she was, and I think that was a poor decision on Colin Bunn's not to explore her character just a little bit more, because she's not as iconic as all these other characters. So that's where the book kind of lacked there for me. So we get to see these new everyday, these mutants walking around, and Magneto sitting there going, oh, you have this purpose, you have something to do, don't just walk around here doing nothing. And Magneto's very angry and whatnot, and Psylocke is just sitting there trying to help people as much as she can. And by the time you wind up getting to the end of this issue, Magneto's message kind of got to this mutant, saying that he does have this purpose. Use your healing ability for a good cause. So as this healer comes across and heals this person, well, what happens is, boom, he gets shot in the head. And the next thing we wind up finding out is this group of people are called the Dark Riders, wind up saying, oh, we're the Dark Riders and we want to make sure there's no mutants here and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay. So I wasn't really overall impressed with this book. I was kind of expecting more of a real introduction of these characters. And I don't know if this has to do with not knowing the ending of Secret Wars quite yet before we get to know how these guys form this team and what their real purpose is. But the bad guys here, the people that they show at the end, I was like, okay, and then the unexplanation of M, and just I didn't like the overall tone of the book. It was kind of dark, and it's just an odd team up for this group. You got Magneto and you got Sabretooth, as they used to be the bad guys. Same with Archangel. So I'm not sure if these guys really mesh well yet. Maybe that's going to take time. And the next issue also looks like we're going to get introduced to Mystique. So is she on this team as well? So I thought this book was good, but it wasn't great. And I thought it could have been better for a real introduction to a classic title like Uncanny X-Men. You would think that this is the flagship of all the X-Men books out there. And this one kind of just was a miss for me. So I think I'm going to give this one a 3.25 out of 5 stars. I just wasn't overly impressed with this one. I am going to be continuing it. I want to see it get better, and I want to like it. But I could care less about so far these villains that they're showing at the end of this book, and Magneto having his little, cry about baby pouts or whatever else you want to call it, about how mutants and humans don't get along and blah, blah, blah. So we've heard that all before. So we'll see where this story goes. And hopefully the stories get better. And again, 3.25 out of 5 stars. So guys, tell me what you thought of this book in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And fans, as always, thank you for watching Comic Book Corner 2.0. Until the next comic book review, you can check out Comic Book Corner Old School, my new classic YouTube channel that reviews all old comics. You can check out Comic Frontline, which is my group YouTube channel. So fans, you got a lot to check out. And fans, until that next comic book review, this is Mike Spider Slayer signing off. Take care. Bye.